All right, I think we're live. Let's make sure people can hear us. I think we're good to go. All right, technical difficulties, and you guys know how it is when you're trying to get things to work, and then technology just does not want to be your friend. So let me just post this link so that we can get this party started, and uh, and we're going to jump right into this. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to get started. I appreciate your patience. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. We're going to make sure this is muted and we are going to rock and roll. If you're with me, if you can give me some sort of indication that you can hear me, give me a one in the comments. Let me know your name. Let me know where you're from. Give me something to show that you are with us today. I'm going to be sharing my screen. We're going to go into some valuable information about legacy creation, creating a 100-year plan. This is being recorded just in case you can't make it or you got to jump off early, and we'll make sure we get it out to everybody that wants this information. My name is Mark Cassara. I'm a legacy and wealth coach. I've been doing this for about 6 years now, and we've dove into the rabbit hole. We've gone into the bee's nest. We've gone down into the deep to do all the research, the studying of these families, and we've tried to lay out a map so that it's easily duplicatable. I'm doing it for my family, and I know my kids are going to do it for their family, and that's how you create generational legacy. Okay. Now, when it comes to 100-year legacy, nobody really thinks about a 100-year legacy. We think about maybe a one generation legacy, which could be 60 years, 70 years. That's about all we think of, right? But 2 generations spanning past 100 years is easily, that's just off people's radar. But one of the coolest things that I've heard in the last year is my pastor here in Frisco, Texas, at our church. He talked from stage about his family legacy and how he's creating a 100-year plan for his family. And it includes everything from insurance to trusts to estates to estate planning to family offices, family advisors. It's a whole entire system that you have to put together like a puzzle in order for it to function properly. We'll talk about a couple families. One family that it worked flawlessly for, and another family who was devastated in one single generation. Their wealth was destroyed. And so without further ado, guys, I appreciate you being with me today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to get into this and get rocking and rolling. Let's go ahead and share this screen. Again, make sure you guys can hear me okay. I do not want to be a distraction whatsoever. We're going to talk about a 100-year legacy. A 100-year legacy. What does it mean to build a 100-year legacy? Again, you think about your kids and that's all you think about, but you don't think about your kids' kids. You know that the Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children and children's children. We're talking 2-3 generations. And so my biggest thing is I want to make sure people are thinking about multiple generations, not just one generation. Why? Because we need leaders in this world. Why? Because our generations are degenerate right now. It seems like we're going backwards instead of forward. And so I believe we need people to stand up and we need people to go to bat and fight this war of, number one, poverty and ignorance and not being educated properly, but also not building legacies. Back in the 1800s, 1700s, people, that's all they knew was legacy. How many legacies can I build? How many generations can I span my legacy? And so here we go. Here we are in 2025. Nobody cares about legacy anymore. So we're going to talk about creating a 100-year plan. Very important. This is a comprehensive guide to building a lasting legacy that transcends generations, based on time-tested principles from history's most successful families. We're going to discover how to preserve not just your wealth, but also the values, wisdom, and impact for the next century, guys. This is very, very important. Why build a 100-year legacy? Did you know This is a picture of the Vanderbilt family, right? Did you know that over the next 2 decades, an unprecedented $84 trillion is going to be transferred to heirs, according to this particular research company? Okay. This is representing the largest wealth movement in history. Okay. We're talking about $84 trillion going from parents to children. When parents retire, they're going to live a few more years and then they're going to die. And all of that money, all of the estate, all of the assets, all of the wealth that those parents have accumulated over that 60, 70-year period are going to go to their children. This is a big deal. I don't think people realize how big this is. This is the biggest wealth transfer in history that is taking place before our eyes right now over the next 10 to 15 years. Okay. But listen, legacy extends way beyond just financial assets. It's beyond the money in the bank accounts, beyond the homes. It's beyond home ownership. It's beyond the cars, the fancy cars and the Rolex watches. It's beyond leaving gold bars to your family. It's beyond leaving pictures and valuables. It's about family values and vision and a lasting impact across multiple generations. I'm going to say that again. It's more than just financial assets that we're talking about, okay? It's about encompassing your family's values, putting them in a system that you can pass to the next generation, and the vision that you've established, and then allowing them to leave a lasting impression for multiple generations. That means their kids and their kids' kids, okay? Consider the cautionary tale of the Vanderbilts. This is one of the families we're going to chat briefly about. Okay, their fortune of $100 million, which in today's terms would be billions, multiple billions of dollars. Okay, they would be up there near Elon Musk right now, the richest man in the world, the richest bachelor in the world. Okay, he's got hundreds of billions of dollars. Mark Zuckerberg, hundreds of billions. They would be considered the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers. Okay, now the Vanderbilts wasted their entire fortune. It dissipated within just 50 years due to inadequate planning and preparation. Why? Why don't we hear about the Vanderbilts today? You know what I hear about? You probably only know one thing about the Vanderbilts. Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. I used to live there. We used to pass it all the time. Vanderbilt University is big. It's grandiose. It's beautiful, but it's very old and it's starting to wear and tear. And that's like the last of the Vanderbilt legacies because they put a lot of money into a school and they built it and they wanted that to be remembered. But there is no Vanderbilt today that is rich. There is no Vanderbilt today that has millions and millions and even billions of dollars. There is none. They've squandered it. Okay. Other families did the opposite. And we'll talk about those in a minute too. Okay. The Vanderbilts lacked discipline. They lacked educational principles to pass on to the next generation, and they lacked effective communication. They did not have a 100-year plan, okay? Step one to creating your 100-year plan. Make sure you're writing this down. Make sure you're taking notes because this is important. If you care about your legacy, if you care about teaching your kids how to build a legacy upon yours, okay, we're going to talk about something called compound value in a minute. If you care about your kids passing on to their kids what you taught them, which should be a big deal and should be incredibly important to you at this point in your life, then you're going to want to make sure that you pay attention and you take notes. Okay, let's continue. It all starts by planting the tree. What do I mean by planting the tree? I'm talking figuratively, okay? Symbolically, planting the tree of your life, planting the tree of your family's life. Plant the tree by establishing principles and values now while your kids are young. Okay, guess what? Maybe some of you, your kids are old, okay? Maybe they're grown-ups. Maybe they have their own families now. It's not too late to start planting seeds in their life. Maybe you can't plant an entire tree, but you can start planting seeds. Maybe you won't be around long enough to see that tree grow, but maybe you can see this seedling grow. Maybe you can see just the tiny little root grow, okay? It's not too late for you. Plant the tree now, no matter what age you're at, and start watering it. I'll show you how to water it in a minute. Water it consistently. Don't stop watering it until your last breath. Very important. And then prune whatever and wherever you see bad fruit. That's a little harder than just, it's a little more involved than just saying it like that, because that could take some crucial conversations. I digress. Let's continue. Step 1, create a family mission statement. Now, we're talking basics. We're talking fundamentals right here, okay? You probably came on this webinar, you thought we were going to talk about wealth and investments and how to buy houses and properties. We can get to all of that. And you can have a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. But if your kids don't know what to do with that money when you're gone, it's pointless. It's going to go in the trash. It's going to disappear within 50 years. Why are we starting here? Creating a family wealth mission statement is crucial. It's one of the foundational steps to creating a 100-year legacy. Okay. This lady, Susan of Schwab, okay, the banker, right, emphasizes that a formal mission statement aligns family members around a shared purpose and principles that guide decisions across generations. People who lack mission statements in their family, and it's actually a majority of people, majority middle-class families, they don't think about these things. Well, I'm here to change the narrative. We're going to start thinking about these things. We're going to start developing families and leaders and people who care about legacy. And it starts with these simple steps. Designing simple structure in your family. Let's start with creating a mission statement. What's the mission statement of your family say? Have you ever sat down with your kids and actually talked about what a mission statement really means? Now, thank God we have things like ChatGPT. You don't have to go to a family estate planning attorney or a banker or somebody who's an advisor in this area. You don't have to go to a coach or a counselor. You can actually do it yourself. We have tools and resources at your disposal. Go on ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, I want you to take the persona on as a family wealth strategist, and I want you to help me create my own family mission statement. I have this many kids. They're this age. I've been married for this long. We have a dog named Fluffy. Lay it all out for ChatGPT. The more information you give ChatGPT, the better it's going to output what you're looking for. Okay? I got all types of dings and dongs happening. Hopefully you guys can see me. Yeah, everybody should be able to see me. I got a 1 in the chat. So just double checking, okay? Just double checking. All right. So step 1, let's go to step 2, okay? Ask foundational questions. Where did our wealth originate? Maybe this is hard for some people. Maybe you don't have wealth. Maybe you live in just above poverty. Well, a good question would be, hey, where does our money come from? Kids, do we have any assets? Maybe we own a home. Okay, cool. Well, how long ago did we buy this home? Why did we buy this home? Did mom and I do it together? Did dad do it by himself before he got married? Did mom do it? Ask these questions so that your kids know properly where the assets that they're going to inherit one day came from. So they have a foundation of where they knew that things came from. Because if you don't know where things came from, you're not going to know the future on how to handle those particular areas in your life, right? What values guided its creation? Maybe you don't have millions of dollars in the bank. Maybe you only have a couple thousand, maybe a couple tens of thousands, maybe $100,000 in the bank. Have getting to the age where you're about to retire. You have 400,000 or 500,000 in the bank. Maybe you have $1 million in the bank. Talk to your kids about this. Talk to them. Have an open conversation so that they know how hard you worked or how you acquired assets or whatever the case may be. Ask foundational questions. What collective impact do we want to have as a family? Okay. Now, these questions are based on younger families with younger kids, right? I myself am 43 years old. I have 6 kids. One's out of the house. So these conversations may be a little more difficult for the ones that are out of the house, but I got 5 kids that are in the house. And you better believe that we sit down every couple weeks and we sit down and have family meetings. I call it cookies and conversation. This is just what I do, okay? I call it cookies and conversation. And we sit down, we bake cookies, we share cookies at the kitchen table, and we chat. Sometimes we talk about struggles. Sometimes we talk about successes. Sometimes we talk about financial things that we're going through that we need them to be aware of. This is what we do. We ask the questions because we also already created a family mission, okay? But one of the super important questions is, well, what do we want our family to, how do we want our family to impact the world around us? We have morals, values, ethics, principles that we want to function by. Okay. Next question would be, what legacy do we want to leave? When we're not here anymore, kids, we want to leave this type of legacy. And we're letting them know now when we got, triplets that are 9 and we got a set of twins that are 13. And I know half your jaws are on the ground right now, but this is our family. This is how we do it. So ask the foundational questions. Let's go on to the next one. Create family core values. If you don't understand how important this is, let me just stop right here. Creating family mission and then family core values is the foundational part of creating a 100-year plus legacy. If you don't have a family mission, if you're not asking the right questions, and if you don't have a family sheet, literally, that you wrote down and you wrote your core values down, you're missing it. You're only thinking about one generation, and there is not going to be any further impact past this generation. Your kids are going to forget who you are. Your grandkids aren't even going to know your name. Okay. Your great-great-grandkids, you're going to be just a vague, just a distant thought. I wonder who my great-great-grandparents were. Okay. If you don't establish these things now, then a generation from now, you're going to be forgotten. And I know I don't want to be forgotten. I want to be one of those great-great-grandpas that are in a painting sitting above the mantle, and that they look at when they're all together with their families, and they're going to go, great-grandpa Cassara really turned it up. He changed the game for our family. We would have been here, but now we're here. And they're going to know our mission statement as a family. They're going to know our core values. And that's what's important to me. Listen, documenting these answers creates a foundation for all other legacy building activities. This is foundational. Place them somewhere where you can read them, somewhere where you can see them, somewhere where the kids can recite them. I encourage you to write them, type them up on the computer, put them in nice bold font, print them, stick them on in a nice picture frame, and hang them on your wall. Or go and do it in Canva and have it really, really done nice, and have a good background and fancy, cursive writing. Establish a strong family contract, like retirement. Write this down a little bit. Who right now, if you want to let me know in the chat, give me number 2. Who right now holds annual family meetings? Like, we're talking like annual family meetings, like a tradition where the entire family gets around and y'all start talking about goals and fundamental principles that you've laid out, and emphasizing the importance of creating legacy and telling stories with one another, how each other grew up and how we acquired assets. Who does that? Not too many. I'll tell you right now, I have not done that in the past, but we're starting to do it now. We're starting to create tradition in our family where we're going to meet once a year. And this is just kind of the basic, right? You can meet once a year, you can meet quarterly, you can even meet monthly, and then some families can meet weekly. Each meeting is going to be a little different. The annual family gathering or the annual family retreat, this is a principle established, guys, we're talking hundreds and even thousands of years ago, where families would get together one time of the year to celebrate each other, and they would just have an entire family festival. Like, this is not something I'm just making up out of thin air. This is proven principles that have been around since biblical times, okay? But who does this? I'll tell you what, we're establishing this right now where we're going to hold family retreats. I got a large family right now, and when we start popping out grandbabies, we're going to have 20, 30 people at these events, and it's going to be glorious. Okay. But this is where we can emphasize the importance of multi-generational gatherings with family, with our kids, with our grandkids. These gatherings can help build trust. They can foster inclusion, and they can develop shared decision-making skills among the family, where you all sit around and you all talk about important things. Guys, we're so caught up in just Western civilization. Western culture is so caught up in me, that we're not thinking about them, them. You, us. We're not thinking about that. All we think about is me. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Open dialogue. Okay. Oopsie. Let me go back. Open dialogue. Transparent communication prevents destructive conflicts, ensuring wealth serves its intended beneficiaries rather than becoming a source of division. Most families get torn apart at the parent's death because they fight over homes, they fight over assets, they fight over all these different things, and they don't realize that, hey, this could have been avoided the entire time if there was some type of meeting where we all talked about who gets what, when they get it, how they get it, and where they get it. And again, this is all going to be wrapped up inside of a family constitution. This is all going to be laid out. Again, if you don't know where to start, we have plenty of resources in some of our legacy family guides and legacy family blueprints. But this is not to pitch you or offer any type of course right now. This is what we have established, and this is what we're going to be offering in the future to people. But this right now, this webinar is just pure value. I'm trying to give you as much as I can in 45 minutes. And obviously, if you have more questions, you can always reach out to me and we can have a free consultation. That's not a problem. But this is part of the family constitution, annual family gatherings, open dialogue, open conversations, and then a family mantra. Check this out. This is our family mantra. We stand together at our family meetings and we all say it together. The Cassaras have heart, Heart, honor, empathy, accountability, respect, and trust. The Cassaras have heart. And so I got all my kids, even my little grandbaby Jake, he's starting to learn heart. What it means to have heart. The Cassaras have heart. So we have this little mantra. And when we go to bed at night, sometimes we say it, the girls and I say it. The Cassaras have heart, honor, empathy, accountability, respect, and trust. That's our mantra. Those are our core values that we stand on. Your family mantra should distill the essence of who you are and where you're headed. It might reflect your commitment to service, your passion to innovation, your dedication to environmental stewardship, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But it should be something that basically talks about who you guys are and the legacy and the impact that you want to leave for the next generation. Let's continue. Crafting your family constitution and governance is I'll just break it down in 5 simple steps. And this is not exclusive. Obviously, it can get as more detailed or it can get simplified based on your family. But this is what I've drafted up. Number 1, draft a family constitution. We talked about that. And this is basically just collaborating and familiarizing yourself with the shared values, the mission, and the guiding principles that your family has laid out. Okay. This document outlines the framework for decision-making roles, rules, and responsibilities across generations. And again, you can take these prompts and you can stick them in ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, I want you to become my family wealth counsel, my guide, my coach, and I want you to help me lay out a family constitution. And you're going to give ChatGPT all the answers of who you are, what you do, how you do it, what your goals are, what your mission statement is. You're going to lay it out, and then you're going to go through it one by one, and you can tweak it along the way. Define a family governance structure. Establish clear roles, responsibilities within your family, including family councils, committees, informal leadership, maybe some people outside the family that can become mediators that you know, love, and trust, right? And this is to manage shared assets or initiatives effectively. Okay. Number 3, implement communication protocols. Let me break this down. Schedule regular family meetings. We talked about this. It can be annual, it can be quarterly, it could be monthly, it could be weekly, to create a dedicated platform. Now, this platform we're talking about is just you and your family together, you and your immediate family together, so that you can be open, honest, and transparent. I want you to openly allow your kids to share things that are on their heart. This is not just kind of This is not like a college session. This is not where you just talk down and talk at. This is going to be open communication to share things that are on their mind, to share principles, values, morals, things that you want to include and for future impact. Maybe you want your kids to grow up and be, play an important role in the town or the city that you live in. Those are important dialogues to have, ensuring that everybody feels heard and informed. Number 4. Develop conflict resolution mechanisms. What does this mean? And this could be from books. It could be from podcasts. It could be you've developed your own mechanisms, okay? Proactively design processes for addressing family disagreements. When there's disagreements, do you guys just hit the road and just never talk to each other? Most families they turn to this like separativeness, right? They separate from each other. They don't talk to each. I know I came from a family who the way of dealing with conflict was, I hate you and I'm leaving. Boom, the door slams. They don't talk to each other for weeks on end, even months on end. And it was a very toxic way of handling conflict. Instead of sitting down, addressing the disagreement, hearing both sides, getting some constructive criticism, and then maybe even having a mediator involved. Sometimes families need to bring in an outside counsel, an outside trusted pastor, or somebody that they can confide in to help with disputes, help them from escalating and so that they can actually preserve their family harmony. Family harmony is one of the most important things you can have in a family. If you don't have family harmony and it's always chaos and it's always problems and it's always issues, then you can't even start talking about legacy until you start to deal with some of those internal conflicts inside of your family. Okay. Number 5, establish review and adaptation cycles. Sounds complicated. It's really not. Plan for periodic review of your family constitution. Okay, in the very beginning, we talked about drafting a constitution, drafting a mission statement, drafting these core values, defining governance and the structure of your family, implementing communication protocols, having conflict resolution mechanisms, but now it's an adaptive process. So periodically, you need to sit with your family and review all these documents to make sure that they still fit your family function. They're functional inside your family unit. Okay, so the family constitution and governance structures, you need to ensure that they remain relevant at all times. Maybe you have new family members. Maybe you have maybe people got married, and so you're introducing a whole new way of thinking and a whole new way of dealing with things because of son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws and mother-in-laws and father-in-laws. When you blend families like that, it's very easy to get off track, okay? And it's important to establish this type of review policy, okay? And things will change along the way. Your daughter may marry a son, a gentleman that has a whole nother family that does things completely different than you guys. Now you guys got to kind of come together and kind of mediate and kind of figure out what works for both families, right? And so that comes with lots of dedicated planning. Okay, that comes with sitting down and having that open communication. Okay, teach your kids while they're small. Again, we're talking to people who have younger kids. If you're already in retirement and you don't have kids anymore, well, sit down with your grandkids and start to share with your grandkids the importance of all of these things, and then try to get your kids on the same page to build a family constitution and these different documents that are important to your legacy. Okay. And then allow them to understand the roles and allow them to understand the tools so that they can build and grow their own families in the future. Very, very important. Okay. Let's talk about step 3. Okay. Building, and this is where we get a little bit more practical. Okay. Building a living estate and succession plan. What does this mean? Okay. Now we're talking about the nitty gritty. Okay. How are we building, once we've established the foundation, how are we going to build and pass on our legacy and our assets to the next generation so that they handle it with professionalism and they handle it with a mindset of continuing to perpetuate that legacy instead of just killing it during their generation, right? Well, this is an ongoing process. We have to begin to build our foundation. What's a foundation look like? Our next slide is going to show you a visualization of what a financial home should look like. Okay, so we got to build the foundation. Foundation typically starts with getting your finances in order, budgeting, setting a budget, having a plan, putting 3 to 6 months of savings in the bank so that you have an emergency fund. Getting life insurance is a foundational principle to starting to build your foundation. If you don't have this foundational principle on you established with you and your wife right now, or you and your husband right now, and you don't at least have term life insurance, what are you even doing? You're not thinking about legacy. You're not thinking about anything right now. So we need to think about this in terms of, if we were to die tomorrow, what would our kids have? Would our kids have anything left over? Would our kids be able to manage, or are we leaving them with a disaster? Life insurance is the foundation of your legacy. Why? Because it takes care of problems when you pass away. It will pay off debt. It will pay off homes. You should have at least enough life insurance to cover your assets. For instance, if you have a house that's worth $500,000 and you have a mortgage on it that is, $350,000, you need at least $350,000 in term life insurance, without a doubt, no questions asked. Go and get it today. Okay. If you need somebody, you know who to call. Okay. But this is a foundational principle. After life insurance, make sure your kids are set up with life insurance too. We don't think about this. We don't like to think about this, but listen, man, sometimes the world is rough, right? Sometimes things happen that we don't even like to think about. Kids unintentionally pass away, and it's very rough on families. Okay. I came from a family where my younger brother passed away. Never thought that would happen in a million years, but it hit our family like a ton of bricks. It wrecked our family. It destroyed our family. There wasn't anything. I mean, it was so much money because of lawsuits and financial issues and medical issues. I mean, it was devastating to our family. But if there would have been some type of life insurance set in place, it would have at least helped with the blow. Okay, life insurance should be a foundational piece of the puzzle. Okay, let's go on to the next thing: trusts and estates. A lot of people don't think they need a trust. And we're going to, I can do a whole nother masterclass just on trust and estate planning. We're not going to dive that deep in it right now. But if you have assets, typically over $50,000, if you own a home, there's no reason why you shouldn't get a trust. Now, you can have what's called beneficiary designations, and you can list your kids as a beneficiary, and you can list your daughter or your son as the beneficiary. But listen, if your assets get passed to your kid, and your kid is in the middle of a divorce, your kid is in the middle of a bankruptcy, your kid is in the middle of some type of accident, and somebody's suing them, listen, all of that hard-earned money and those assets that you've been building for a lifetime can be destroyed instantly if it's not properly protected. A trust is just a simple way to protect your assets so that nobody else can get them, except for those who you designed to get them. Now, if you only have a will is not good enough either. I'm telling you, I'm so sorry to tell you. If you have a will, you're almost guaranteeing that your estate and the assets that you have are going to go into probate. A will not avoid probate. Okay, so properly planning for these types of things is part of the foundational pieces to building a 100-year legacy plan. Life insurance, trust and estate planning, and then we can get into some other types of financial planning at another time, maybe in a deeper discussion. If you'd like to, feel free to reach out. Okay. Number 2, regular updates. We talked about this, regular updates, but instead of just regular updates to your constitution, your family goals, your mission, you're going to have regular updates with advisors to go over, do I have enough insurance? Do I need a little bit more insurance? Do I have too much insurance? Do my kids have insurance? Does the new baby that was just born have a policy? You're going to have regular meetings with a trusted family advisor. And I say family advisor because when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, you have too many answers, you don't know which one is right. So I highly suggest getting with somebody that you trust, that is going to stick with you for the long haul, and consider them a family advisor. And all of your kids meet with this family advisor. As they get older, they continue to use that family advisor. Stick with somebody that knows your family and knows how you want to run your family. So have continual updates. And listen, as we build our foundation of our house, sometimes when our house is built, we need to remodel a little bit. Okay, we build a house. We're about to move into a house that was just built from scratch. Okay, a spec home. And we know that there's going to be some cracks throughout the next couple months to the next couple years. There's going to be cracks in the foundation, cracks in the wall, because as the house starts to settle, it starts to settle into its place. And maybe a little bit of the earth moves, maybe, the heat and the cold and the heat and the cold. We know that there's going to be areas that we're going to have to remodel and we're going to have to adjust. So just like you do that with a home, you need to do that with your financial home. Okay, review, modify will, trusts, and beneficiary designations every couple of years, because there may be significant life changes that sometimes you forget about. Forget about marriages, forget about a birth, maybe a divorce took place, or maybe some type of business transition took place. You need to make sure you account for all of that. That's why regular meetings is very, very, very important. Okay, guys, if you're getting what I'm throwing down, give me a 1 in the chat, a thumbs up in the chat. Give me some sort of idea that you are listening, you're paying attention, you're taking notes, because this is valuable information. The amount of hours that I took to put all this together, listen, it took a long time. And I'm still not done. I've just scratched the surface. Guys, I'm reading book after book after book about legacy, about the Rockefellers, about being your own family bank. I'm reading book after book, listening to podcast after podcast. This is going to be a core service and product that I offer for people in the future. My goal is to not just be a life insurance agent or a retirement planning. My goal, I feel like this is a life purpose for me. I feel like my life purpose is to be a legacy coach. Now, I don't even know if there is such a thing, but I coined it. I'm coining it right now. I want to be a legacy and wealth coach. Here's what that means. I want to sit down with families and help them craft their constitution. I want to sit down with families and help them craft their family core principles, their goals. I want to help them craft their financial home. I want to help them build from the foundation up. That's my goal in life. And so I hope you guys are getting enough value out of this, even if it's for one person. Hey, that's cool. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to me ramble. But listen, this is important information. We're almost going to be done in a few minutes, guys. We're going to wrap this up, and there'll probably be a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4 and a part. I'm going to keep diving into the rabbit hole, because I believe that this is one of the most important topics to cover in our generation. I really strongly do. Okay. I strongly believe that legacy planning is one of the most important things that you can talk to your family about. And we haven't done it. We haven't done a good job of it over the years. Okay. So that being said, let's keep going. Planning strategically. What does that mean? Building specific trust structures. We talked a little bit about trust, life insurance, estate planning, but we want to plan strategically. So when you have assets to pass, even if you have, 50 grand in the bank, you want to make sure it's protected. You're going to establish a trust. You can get a trust done for, $2,500, and you can maintain that trust for the rest of your life. There's tools and resources that we have available. Just reach out to us if you have any questions about that. You want to build a trust and build the trust structure to control the timing and the condition of your wealth transfer. Okay, this is a wealth transfer protocol. This means there are certain provisions you can put inside the trust that says my kids won't get my assets unless, right? If they do this, then they'll get this. Okay, if then that type of scenario. Okay, it's kind of like a coding language, right? If I put this line of code, then this happens inside my website. It's the same thing. If my kids have a 4.0 GPA, then they get this. If they go to church and serve on, staff, then they get this. If they do 200 hours of community service a year, then they get this. If, you can set your rules, but it's very important to plan strategically. When you sit down with a estate planning specialist, either myself or one of my team members, they're going to ask you specific questions. And there's an area where you can actually fill out on your own and come up with the craziest scenarios so that you can design your own game. It's super cool how nitty gritty you can get with trusts and estate planning. But it's important that you structure them properly. There's a clause that you can put in called a spendthrift clause. And essentially it just slows down your wealth going to your next generation so they don't squander it all in one lump sum. Because the average American squanders within 3 to 4 months, whatever type of lump sum money that they get. Most people that win the lotto are broke in less than a year. Doesn't matter how much they win. Typically, most people that win the lotto are broke within 1 to 2 years. It's just a statistic because they don't properly plan. So there are certain provisions you can put inside of trusts and life insurance policies so that you don't get just one lump sum going to your heirs, and it can be spread out months or years so that they can preserve that legacy, okay? And then here's a quick note. Your estate plan should be dynamic, just like your family is dynamic. There's always going to be an evolution, and you're always going to need to adapt to change and circumstances while preserving your core intention. You're always going to keep your core values, but there's going to be a dynamic inside of your family that is going to kind of ebb and flow, and you need to just be okay with that. It's just part of the package, okay? Let's keep going. This is a quick illustration of what a family financial triangle looks like. We call this a financial home. Typically, we see it the other way, okay? Middle-class America, we see real estate down at the bottom. Then we see investments. We blow all our money in the stock market. And then if we have any money left, okay, if you're a life insurance agent, you've been in the industry at all, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? If we got any money left, then you squeeze a couple bucks out per month just to buy a cheap life insurance policy, okay? Why do we do that? Why do we do that when our life is our biggest asset? Why do we do that when our kids' life is our biggest asset that we have and that we're a steward over? Why do we do that? Life insurance and proper financial planning and budgeting should be our foundation. Then we could talk about homes and land and businesses and collectibles and valuables. And then we can talk about investments and other assets and acquiring other assets along the road. Because here's the thing, guys. If all those other things crash and burn, what do we have to fall back on? Zilch, zero, nothing, nada. If we don't have a foundational home, a home that is built properly on a fixed asset like life insurance, or even annuities can be put in that categories as well. Life insurance, annuities, some type of something that you can fall back on, that you can always rely on. If what hits the fan and you have some type of medical emergency and you can't pay your bills, there's something called a living benefit in lots of these life insurance policies where you can pull your death benefits out so you don't have to squander your retirement, squander your savings, okay? So life insurance should be the foundation of your financial home. Again, this is all part of building your 100-year plan. If you can't get these simple principles in order now, okay, and maybe it seems very, very overwhelming to you up until this point, that's okay. We have professionals and we have experts at your disposal. All you have to do is reach out and we can help you craft these type of documents, craft these types of plans. But listen, foundational principle, life insurance should be at the foundation, okay? Investments should be after you're all taken care of, you're all covered with life insurance, and then real estate and other assets should be the capstone of your financial house. That shouldn't be the asset. That shouldn't be the assets down at the bottom. Real estate investments, those can crumble easily. They shouldn't be at the bottom. You should be building your financial home with a proper foundation, okay? Strategic sequence definitely matters. You'll see a lot of the wealthy families, a lot of the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the Carnegies, the Warren Buffetts of the world. These people talk about having their life insurance in place. Number one, it's an asset that you can build and borrow against, okay? But number two, it's a fallback plan, and it's a way to pay for estate taxes when they do pass away. So they don't leave it in, put all their assets into their kids' name, their kids sell, and then their kids have to pay estate taxes. They use life insurance as a way to do that, okay? So wealthy families don't start at the top. They build upwards intentionally, first securing protection, then consistently investing, finally acquiring appreciating income producing assets. I hope you got a lot out of this slide right here. You can take a screenshot of that, okay? Super cool stuff, all right? We're going to bang through this pretty quickly. Number 4, preparing and educating your heirs for good, proper stewardship, okay? Financial responsibility is very important. If you have all the assets in the world, we said this, I sound like a broken record. If we have all the assets in the world and you pass them to kids who are not financially prepared or financially responsible, it's gone in one generation. Okay. Aside from money is family story time. Tell the stories about your parents and your grandparents and the struggles that they went through and how you guys are changing the narrative in your family. You guys are the change agent in your family. Storytelling is powerful. It's a powerful tool to continue keeping legacy intact. I'm going to say again, family storytelling is a crucial part of your 100-year legacy plan. Okay, human capital development. What the heck does that mean? Your greatest legacy is wisdom, skills, and value transfer. Because if you don't have these wisdom, skills, and values transferred to your kids, you have nothing. You just have a whole bunch of money that's going to be wasted, and nobody's going to know who you were in 3 generations from now. That's not going to be me, guys. That's not going to be me. I'm going to teach my kids skills. I'm going to give them wisdom, and I'm going to share valuable principles with them. So in 3 generations from now, one of these pictures on the wall is going to be Papa Cassara, and they're going to know exactly who I was, okay? Listen to this. Capital stewards, we want to create capital stewards. Capital stewards are individuals or groups who are trusted to manage, protect, and grow resources. We want to build capital stewards. From now on, I'm going to call my kids capital stewards. They're capital stewards, and they are going to grow up to steward over the assets that we are leaving behind to them. They're going to protect them. They're going to manage them. They're going to grow them, and they're going to be responsible for them. And they're going to also teach their kids with competence, integrity, and foresight. I love that. I love that. What does it mean to have compounding? I spelt that wrong. Compounding value. Okay. Compounding value. I'll do a little live editing right now. Compounding value is powerful. Okay. And I think I just created this term as well too, right? Compounding, but we're not talking about wealth here. Compounding value is family. It's value in family that is not just about money, okay? But it's an escalating impact of consistently living, teaching, and modeling your core values across generations, okay? It's the escalating impact of consistently living, teaching, and modeling your core values across generations. Check it out. It compounds over time. Let me just share this. Let me break it down super simple. If you have bad habits and your kids get those bad habits, what do you think their kids are going to get? Let's just break it down super simple. If you have bad habits and you give those bad habits to your kids are going to have bad habits. So if we reverse that and we lead with strong values now, and we begin to build traditions around those values, and within those traditions, we share stories about where we came from, where we are now, and where we're going as a family, okay? Then we're going to invite the kids and the kids' kids to participate in that compounding value. And then 3, 4, 5, 6 generations later, it all started with you. It all started with Papa Cassara or me, right? It all started with whatever your last name is, because you escalated the values, the principles, the strategies, the concepts from one generation to another. That's what we call compounded value. I think I just made that term up, but it sounds good. Practical steps to creating compounding value. Let's go through this. Family dinners and storytelling. We don't have to read through this, but you get what that means. Make it a point to have family dinners. It sounds a little bit cliche, maybe. It sounds a little taboo nowadays. Nobody really sits down and has family dinner. I'll tell you what, I am all about having family dinner with my kids. As many times per week as we can sit down and have family dinners, I'm going to have family dinners, because it's a time where we can get together. We can look each other in the eyes without technology. We can begin sharing how important each other is to us, and we can story tell. I love it. Make this part of your core value. Make this part of your mission statement. Volunteering together. What does that mean? Go to food pantries and homeless shelters and single mom houses and maybe hospitals, cancer wards, where you guys can actually impact the community together as a family. So powerful. This is so powerful. Not enough people do it. And then journaling and reflecting. Everybody in your family should have a journal. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent. And this is something that we're working on. We don't have this one in place yet. But man, even in your cell phone, on what they did this last, just got home from telling us and reciting what they went through and writing it down and reflecting and sending us 3 biggest takes. Super important to journal and so that you can reflect together. This is a little bit more technical for sustainable success. Check it out. Family transition plans. Okay. According to the Legacy Family Revolution, comprehensive transition planning, transition plans prepare heirs before crisis occurs, ensuring smooth wealth transfer. You always want to have some type of contingency plan. If mom and dad pass away, then this. If dad passes away, then this, and some type of protocol to take place once that happens. Emergency protocols are very important. Establish clear principles, clear procedures for succession, unexpected deaths, business challenges, and market downturns. What the heck do we do if the world collapses, right? Where are we going to go? How are we going to stick together? What are we going to have in place? Do you know where this is? Do you know where that is? These are emergency protocols that are super important for continuing a 100-year legacy. Because again, you teach these to your kids and your kids are going to teach them to their kids. That's how you create a 100-year legacy. And then multi-generational engagement. Make sure you involve family members from all generations in early planning, early governance to build commitment, readiness, and shared ownership. And when we talk about contingency plans, we can get into some really practical stuff like preparedness, like some type of if there's an unexpected black swan event, if there's an economic crash, if there's a place where we need to kind of shelter in place, if there is war, if there is some type of nuclear threat, there's always good to have some type of safety, security protocol built into your legacy. It can't all just be about money and wealth and succession. You need to have all these things in line because things can happen that are unexpected, and we kind of need to tap into all of this, to create that proper legacy so that, listen, our kids know what to do and then they teach their kids what to do. Because if we leave some of these emergency protocols out and we're just thinking about money, wealth, and success, listen, we're leaving a big gaping hole in our legacy. We want to make sure that there is some type of preparedness behind the scenes as well. Okay. And I got some good friends that have really helped me understand this practical lesson over the last few years as well. And we're talking about not being a prepper, not being crazy, but we're talking about, hey, make sure you have enough food for a couple weeks for your family. God forbid something does happen. Make sure you have cash in a location where you guys all know where it is, but you're not going to touch it unless there is an emergency. Make sure you have, whatever in place so that, do you see what I'm saying? That there's important piece of puzzle is the emergency protocol right here, okay? The most enduring family legacies are built on systems that can weather crises and adapt to changing circumstances across centuries. Listen, the Rockefellers have lasted over 6 generations because they've had systems and processes in place. So I hope you understand how important that is. We're going to break this down real quick. Family transition plans. Okay, what does it mean to have a family transition plan? Okay, smooth transfer. Smooth. Just want to make sure that right now. So hopefully we're good to know it's not. If it is, we'll just watch the replay. Okay. What is so important? Goals real quick to have a smooth wealth transfer and leadership continuity family. If I die, then my oldest son steps up to the plate. If I die, then my oldest daughter steps. What happens to them, then this person steps up to the plate. You have to have a family transition plan because a lot of times what happens, guys, is mom and dad pass away and the family is just the time. And it's happened to one side of my family as well. Okay. Action steps, practical action steps. Write this down or take a screenshot. Write or update a will. Make sure you have medical directives. If my husband becomes incapacitated, this happens. If my wife becomes incapacitated, this happens. Listen, If you have kids that are 18 years old or older, you should have a power of attorney and a medical directives filled out for them. If they get into a car accident and they cannot, they cannot make decisions. Sorry if it's cutting out, guys. I see some comments about it cutting out, but we're going to keep going anyway. I'm going to keep pushing through this. Okay. If your older kids become incapacitated, did you know by law you cannot make any decisions on their behalf? If you have kids that are over 18, you need a contingency plan. You need a power of attorney built for them that gives you the power to make decisions. You need medical directives in place to allow the doctor to know what they need to do if in the event that they can't make any decisions on their own. Okay. So write and update a will and medical directives, organize key documents, insurance, bank accounts, passwords, and deeds. Make sure you have a central location where those are kept for people. Okay. Hold a family meeting to explain your intentions and who is responsible for what. This is important. This is important so everybody knows who to turn to in time of a disaster or crisis. And then start a basic estate planning. If you don't even feel wealthy yet, you still have to establish basic estate planning. Get with somebody. At least get a will going. If you can't afford a trust, get a will going. It's one of the most important things that you can do. It's one of the most important things that you can do. Get a will going, establish a medical directives for your family, and powers of attorney. I'm just going to check the stream again. Just going to check the stream again. It says we're still live. We're still good. We got a bunch of people watching right now. I'm going to continue going, guys. I'm going to continue going. Okay, let's go to the next one. Well, we spoke about this. We'll breeze through this really quickly. Prepare for unexpected disruptions. Create a success. If you own a business as a fan of that business in the event that you in it, you know how many horror stories passing away and the business is all of their assets. The family doesn't. It all gets sucked up into probate. It's absolutely a disaster. So make sure you have a succession plan. Appoint a power of attorney and emergency decision makers. Build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, and then always create a what if plan. This is a lot, guys, a lot of information. Listen, did you really come on here and think that building a 100-year plan was going to be, come on this webinar today and think, oh, I'm going to have 5 points to building a 100-year succession plan. I'm going to have a 10-point summary to building a 100-year legacy. Guys, this is way more involved than people realize it is. Way more involved. But I'm just here to say there's people, there's books, there's resources out there that can help you do it. You just got to have a little bit of resourcefulness, know where to look, know who to speak to, know where to gather the information. My YouTube channel, some of you guys watching this on my YouTube channel, I'm going to turn my YouTube channel into a virtual resource database. And I am going to pump out so many videos about this that your head is going to spin. I'm going to make sure everybody knows about this because it's important. If you don't know about it, how can we expect the next 2 to 3 generations to have any of the values, morals, and principles that we're trying to teach them? It's not going to happen unless you have a plan in place. So with that being said, I'm going to share the screen again, and we're going to rock and comes back on. There we go. A little bit. Let's keep going through this. Let's keep going through this. Okay. Build the infrastructure. Make sure it's suitable, not dependent on one person. So many times we try to build a legacy on just the dad or just the mom or the dad and the mom. We need to make sure that our infrastructure is sustainable. That means we're teaching our oldest what to do in the event that we're not around anymore. Maybe our oldest kids, or, if you don't have kids, maybe your brothers or sisters. I mean, you can customize this to so many different scenarios. Okay. Listen, here's an actionable step. Use cloud storage like Google Drive or Dropbox, where you can have a folder built out that says family legacy file. And all of these documents we're talking about, you put in your family legacy file or your vault or your storage system. Okay. Set a recurring annual legacy day for reviewing these plans together. Get all the kids together. Maybe go away into a cabin one weekend so you can have a legacy day to establish and kind of review all of this information for them. Okay. Encourage learning, financial literacy, taxes, long-term thinking. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know how to do it, that's okay. There are resources out there. There are courses you can buy. There are trainings that you can acquire. There's YouTube. There's ChatGPT. There are companies that you can go to. There are resources probably at the library. There are many, many free resources. You can go to Khan Academy. You can go to MIT. You can go. There's even college universities that have free educational resources that you can watch with your family. So even though you're not 100%, you can still do it with them. Put on the TV, put on the flat screen, go put a big screen TV on at your house, or put up a sheet and get a projector out and do it together with your family. You just have to be resourceful and you have to get creative. Use a simple financial dashboard or notebook to track assets. Okay? Here's a suggested conversation starter for your family if this is brand new to you. Hey family, I've been thinking a lot about how we can prepare for the future, make sure we're always taken care of, no matter what happens. I want us to be a strong team. How amazing is that, talking to your family about being a strong team, okay? Not just for now, but for next generation too. Let's start planning this together, right? Just a conversation starter. Get around the kitchen table, get around some food, get around some cookies, have a cooking conversation time, and just say, hey, I love you guys so much. I want you to know that I want our family values, our morals, our principles to last your generation and your kids' generation and your kids' kids' generation. So that's why this is important for us to get together and talk about these things right now. Okay. And your kids may not get it, but if you are insecure about it, they're going to be insecure about it. If you are confident about it, they're going to be confident about it too, guys. Here's some historical inspiration right here. Some historical families that have nailed this down. Like, they have created systems. They have created the blueprints for us, okay? Rockefeller legacy, obviously we know them, okay? There's some good things. There's some bad things about all these families, but the Rockefellers have maintained a century-long tradition of philanthropy rooted in John D. Rockefeller's original core value of stewardship and social responsibility. John D. Rockefeller began his philanthropy efforts by sowing seeds into businesses and corporations and economic places and even the educational system. And they basically, their whole goal was we want to make sure that, number one, they wanted to be the decision makers. So that was an important value that they had. They wanted to influence the next generations, which they did, but they also wanted to make sure that their kids succeeded and their kids' kids succeeded. So they gave to hospitals and developed lots of different organizations and stuff like charities and stuff like that. They have tons of things that they did, but one of their core values successfully kept their wealth and their kids to this day. And then we have the Ford family. Ford Motor Company. Okay. The Ford family, that was his last name. Okay. Clear social missions that extended beyond their business interests. Today, we still drive Fords. And that was because of hundreds of years ago when this guy, Papa Ford, decided that he wanted to create a lasting legacy in the automobile industry. And we are driving cars with his name on it to this day, which absolutely blows my mind. Check this next slide out. Both families exemplify how blending family wealth, purpose, education, and strong governance create legacies that endure far beyond their founders. Ready? This is a powerful slide right here. You can take a screenshot. Most iconic brands that we know of today are families' last names. Check this list out. What is your last name, and how much does your last name mean? In 100 years from now, is your last name going to mean something? Well, Henry Ford made sure his name meant something. Johnson & Johnson made sure they meant something. Kraft Foods, which almost every family in America has some type of Kraft product in their cupboard right now. Go in your cupboard and go look. You have some type of food that was made by Kraft. James L. Kraft was his name. He created the Kraft Company. Kellogg, W.K. Kellogg. We have Kellogg cereal. Walmart. Who does not go to Walmart? You're crazy if you don't go to Walmart. It's like the easiest way to shop, and it's one of the biggest stores around. I love Walmart over Target, okay? Koch Industries, Procter & Gamble. Almost every product that we have in our bathroom is made by Procter & Gamble. McCormick, okay? Heinz ketchup and Heinz brand. They have tons of different food brands. Hilton that you stay at. Cadbury. Okay, Cadbury is kind of multiple brands, but we're not just talking about the Cadbury egg like on Easter. We're talking about Cadbury as in a bigger brand. The Marriott, Bacardi, DuPont, Chrysler, Boeing, Nash, Disney. How many of you have went to Disney? That's a $5,000 trip anytime you want to take your family. Levi's. Who's wearing Levi's right now? Johnson, Estee Lauder. Who wears makeup by Estee Lauder? And Dole, the Pineapple King. Dole, you know, the cans of pineapple, you see Dole on there, plus 100 other products. These are all families' last names, guys. All families' last names. What does your last name mean? It is important to put meaning to your last name. I know the Cassara last name is going to be around for 3, 4, 5 generations because we're going to put meaning behind our last name. It needs to start now, not in 10 years, 70, 80. It needs to start now. It needs to start today. A word. It's a living symbol of your family's reputation, relationships, and contribution to the world. I want you to read that again. Your last name is a living symbol of your family's reputation, relationship, and contribution to the world. Every single decision you make, big or small, either adds value to or takes away from the story your last name tells. Famous legacies like the Fords, the Rockefellers, and the Disneys were not built overnight. It took generations for their names to be known. Your name may not be known right now. Your name may not be known tomorrow. It may not be known in 20 years from now. But if you build these legacy steps and you build the foundation and you start with the core foundational principles that we went over in the beginning of this webinar, your name will be known in 60, 70, 100 years from now. This is what it means to build a 100-year legacy plan. But it all starts with starting now. If you do not start now, your name will be forgotten. Your kids won't remember you. Your grandkids will not even know who you are, and your last name will be absolutely forgotten in a few generations. I'm not willing to let that up. I'm not willing to let that go. I want my last name to mean something, and it all starts with building the foundation and building the legacy that you truly deserve. Are you willing to change the direction of your last name? I know I am. Why start now? Momentum compounds. The action that you take today, kindness, work ethic, savings, giving, learning, it ripples outwards through generations. But if you don't do anything now, nothing's going to happen. You set the tone right now. Every generation has a founder, or we call this the change maker, or we call this the agent, the transitional agent in the family. Okay. If you want your name spoken with pride decades from now, you need to plant the seeds today. Small steps matter. Even if you can't do everything that we went over in this webinar, but you can only do 1 or 2 steps, it's better than nothing. You don't need to be wealthy. You don't need to be famous to build value, consistency, or integrity in your family. You just have to have a vision, Okay. You have to have a desire for legacy, and you just have to have a little bit of momentum, and it will go a long way. Delayed isn't denied. Procrastination is the number one enemy of legacy. Procrastination is the number one enemy of legacy. Start now. Even if it's imperfect, start now. Number one, define your legacy. What do you want your last name to mean? Number two, share stories with your kids. Stories are powerful. Share your principles, your values, your morals, your ethics with them. Share the impact that you want your last name to have on this world. And then build traditions. Build a fortitude. Build your foundation, because generations are counting on you. When you treat your last name as an asset, you'll make decisions that multiply its value for those that follow you. Here are some final thoughts and some final actionable steps. Number one, draft your family mission statement. We went over this. Okay. Schedule your first family governance meeting, or you can call it whatever you want. Call it a legacy night if you want, right? Number three, update your estate plan documents. If you do not have one, get one started this weekend. If you need somebody to help you with that, reach out to me. Begin heir education, which means teaching your kids financial literacy principles right now, no matter what age they are. Share personal money lessons, set learning goals, and encourage responsible financial habits. We have resources available in our Legacy Builder toolkit and Legacy Blueprint. Building a 100-year legacy is not easy, guys. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not here to tell you it's going to be a walk in the park, but your story begins with you. If you don't do anything, the next generation may not do anything either, and the generation after them may not do anything. What is a legacy? Why is it important to you? Guys, plant the tree now, so that you can sit underneath it later with your family, and your kids can sit underneath it, and your grandkids can sit underneath it. It's very important. Start today. Start now. We have plenty of resources available, guys. I want to appreciate you guys so much for joining us on this webinar. I know it was long, an hour and 15 minutes, had a little bit of technical hiccups here and there, but I just want to tell you how powerful it is to be able to teach this stuff, and what an honor it is to be able to share the insight that I'm learning and that I'm starting to implement for my family. We got tons of resources available. We're going to start a group where we're going to give these resources away. You're going to have my YouTube channel, which you can have access to as well. My TikTok, Mark Cassara on TikTok. I have an Instagram, markcassara.legacy on Instagram. We're going to have some resources available for you. If you join my newsletter, my mailing list, we'll have resources that we're going to be mailing out on a regular basis as well. Guys, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions about any of this and you need to get started. Reach out. Let's have a free financial consultation. I have a legacy audit available, which you can take for free to see what type of leaks you have in your legacy plan. Just go to the link in my bio. You'll find some type of link in this video, or go to my social media and you'll see a button for the legacy audit. And you can take that, and then it will lead you to one of the legacy guides that I created to help you create a lasting legacy. It's an amazing product that I created, has tons of resources. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to meeting you. And I look forward to hearing some of your feedback. Leave it in the comments. Drop me a note. Shoot me an email. Send me a text message. Drop it in the group if you got any value and what's your 3 biggest takeaways from this. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. God bless, guys, and have a wonderful end to your evening.